when it comes to content performance, what's your current thinking about what's working? What kind of metrics matter, and how do you look at the return of all this content we're all cranking out?
Yeah, so I've spent the last few years in more of a kind of B2B kind of mindset, and in that sense, it was really all about like qualified leads, right? So, is the content kind of attracting people? Are they then turning into prospects and people that we ultimately can sell to? Now, I do think there's some work to be done, and sort of continued thinking that is being done by a lot of people around the attribution of that, and how nothing really exists sort of in a vacuum, and in the way that this reporting often comes back and makes it look like, oh well, this thing it did really well and this thing doesn't matter. Well, the reality is that they could have, they work in conjunction, and they're not measured, like their percentage of impact on the output is not directly measurable yet, maybe ever. So I'm actually seeing a handful of smart marketers that I sort of follow or listen to on podcasts and stuff, starting to say like, actually, all those like ROAS metrics and those things that you've been using in paid media, like throw them out, check them out. They're not useful. They're telling you the wrong thing. Um, and I think that's an interesting point of view, and one that I'm sort of following pretty closely, because there are a lot of shortcomings, let's say, in terms of how marketing gets measured today. And yes, our desire is to make it more measurable. My desire is always to be able to go to the CFO and say, "Hey, if you put in this many dollars, you're going to get this many out. So feed the marketing machine." But I think that the methods by which we do that are going to have to evolve, or in some cases sort of devolve. Right? There's this notion of incrementality, right, and like almost like kind of going back to the things that the CPGs used to do, where they do mixed market testing, right? And they're like, okay, we take two markets and we do TV in one and not in the other, and we see what the lift is, and now we can know, right? Those kinds of experiments, I think, are becoming more common in the digital world versus just the, okay, I'm gonna use cookies and all these things to figure out how to attribute the value and the ROI.
Right.